So let's give this just a few minutes. Hopefully this all works today. I'm not on Wi-Fi, so sometimes that doesn't end well. But give this just a minute, and we're going to have day 20... What is today? Day 22. 21. Is that right? Day 20. I'll get there eventually. Today's going to be a fun day because I'm bringing two guys on from a restaurant in Columbus, Ohio. And to my knowledge, it's probably the first vegan fast food restaurant probably in Ohio. I know there are lots of places that have options, but these guys come from a standpoint of obviously compassion when you're talking about being kind to animals, but they're also coming from an environmentally aware standpoint of what they're doing and bringing to this movement. So Chad and Sebastian are going to join us, and I really appreciate their passion, what they're bringing to the movement, and they're bringing delicious vegan food to Ohio of all places, right? So I really appreciate that. So give me just a second. They sent an invite, so I'm going to bring them in. Let's see. Hey, there we go.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
I'm doing well, and yourselves?
Good, good.
So for those who have not seen it yet, by the way, your music video on YouTube the other day was hilarious.
That's pretty good stuff, right?
That was everybody needs to go check that out, because that in itself, like, if you want to know what you two are about and having fun doing important stuff, that was awesome.
So, that was definitely important stuff right there. That was a piece of content that the world needed to see.
Definitely took me back to our middle school days.
Whose idea was that, by the way?
We're known for cooking up some innovative ideas over here at Eden Burger, so we try to keep it coming pretty often.
Well, that was definitely on point where you guys are headed, and definitely something folks should check out on YouTube for sure. So, so Sebastian, Chad, first off, I really appreciate you guys being a part of this. I started this series because I wanted to spread, good vibes, good message, positive energy. And, I've stumbled across your guys' Instagram, and I see that you guys aren't too far from us. So my wife and I have not yet made it up there, but we're working on that. We've got 7 kids, 6 still at home, so sometimes date night can be few and far between.
Yeah, you're rolling through with like a full squad, no doubt.
Yes, we'll take up half the restaurant by ourselves if we come with all the kids. But so I wanted to bring you guys on to kind of talk about what you guys are doing, what your guys mission and aspirations are for Eden Burger. And we're in Ohio, and this is clearly not a stronghold for the vegan movement, but things are changing so rapidly. And I love seeing that, there are restaurants like yours that are popping up. And like I said, you're probably the first full-on vegan restaurant in Ohio, if I'm not incorrect. It's just changed so much, and I wanted to give you guys a few minutes to kind of, share what sparked your story, what started your journey, and share where you guys are coming from and what you guys would like to accomplish with Eden Burger.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, just a little bit of background about us. We've been friends since like middle school. We've tried a litany of entrepreneurial minded ventures together that span like apps, movies, music. We've sold clothes before. But a few years ago, we watched Cowspiracy in like 2016. Instantly decided that, veganism was now the thing to do. We'd always wanted to start businesses to help improve the world. And after watching Cowspiracy, it was the first time we had really found our entrepreneurial inclinations match well with like a purpose and a so that impact.
We had the idea for a while. Of course, we thought we needed hundreds of thousands of dollars in relevant experience to do something like that. But we saw some people in the area doing pop-ups in other people's kitchens. So on their slow nights, they would go in and use their kitchen to serve their food and gain a following. Woodhouse, High Poke were doing that. So we thought, okay, maybe that's the model we can go, since we don't have the big money and experience. And so we started in our house. We were like, well, before we put our reputation on the line on High Street, we should probably have our friends over and see if they even like the burgers that we would make. So
that would be a good place to start for sure. If your friends aren't eating it, I wouldn't sell it.
That's the first sign. If your best friends are like, "This ain't it, Chief," that's how you know it might not work.
For sure. So we did that. We learned the art of Googling from our previous ventures. So we kind of found a bunch of recipes online and tried some. The first burgers weren't that good. Kind of smushed out when you bit into the buns. So there was a lot of iterating and changing the recipe and tweaking it. And still today that's happening. But once we were kind of somewhat confident with the recipe, then we went and started talking to bars and restaurants and seeing if they would let us serve on their slow nights. A lot of them said no, a lot of them weren't interested. But the first ones that gave us the look were Chris East and Scott and Cario at Barrel and High. They said, yeah, sure, Monday, Tuesday night, slow night, you guys can have it. We scheduled one server. We had never served more than 20 people in our house before, so we were kind of expecting 20 to 50 people maybe throughout the night.
And we had like 100 people there at the start. None of us had ever worked in a commercial kitchen before, so tickets were printing and they looked like they were Chinese to us. And people waited like 3 hours for their food. It was an absolute disaster.
I will give big credit to the vegan community because they will wait 3 hours for vegan food because it's important.
They did. Yeah, they did. And when it finally came out, people enjoyed it. So though operationally it was a bit of a disaster, people still like the product. So we were like, well, we'll just have to get better and keep going. So we did a handful of pop-ups, like 5 or 6 in the area. Fields. We went to Portia's Cafe. She's another. She's the only other like all vegan restaurant in Columbus.
Okay.
She's up in like the Clintonville area. And then we met the building owner where we're at now, and they had a kitchen that was pretty much ready to go. We just had to spend all summer cleaning it and convince them that we weren't going to burn the place down. And we were able to do that. And for about $10,000, we were able to get this off the ground and open. Which the first few months people waited, an hour, 2 hours again for their food as we tried to get our operations down. But eventually things kind of smoothed out, and now we're definitely hitting a good rhythm.
Sometimes trial by fire can spark some of the best innovations and spark these big dreams like you guys have. So, bravo. Like some people some people like to have everything planned out. Everything has to be perfect before they start. And you guys said, you know what? Let's do this. It's important. It's going to be important to us, and we're going to figure it out, and we're going to make it happen. And to me, that's the spirit of being entrepreneurial, and then being part of the vegan movement in general, doing your part for the environmental, for the animals, for people's health. Like, even though it's vegan fast food, it's still a lot healthier for you than anything else you're getting at the Golden Arches or anyplace else. So bravo to you guys. Hats off to you guys making it work, figuring it out, and doing what you guys got to do to make this happen. That's so exciting, and I am just envious of that passion and that drive to be able to do this. And I wish more folks would jump in feet first, so to speak, because sometimes that's what it takes. You got to have that faith and jump, and you guys have done that. So, what are your guys' plans now that you have? Now that you have one location up, do you guys have plans to expand? For sure.
Our dream from the beginning was to try and grow this as big as it could go. We really looked at McDonald's and its impact on the world. They feed 1% of the world every day. They're the largest real estate holder in the world. And you can only imagine the effect that the supply chain behind that has on our environment.
Yeah.
Animal welfare, even the employees, I'm sure. So really looking at that, we dreamed that if we could cover any sort of fraction of the volume that they're doing with a much more, sustainable, organic, cruelty-free supply chain, we'd be doing what we feel is right. So the goal is to grow this to be, the biggest vegan chain, and hopefully compete with some of those other major traditional fast food people like the McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King. And yeah, of course, that's long term, but right now we're building capital, trying to make as much money and save as much money as possible, form some strategic partnerships with people that maybe know a little bit more than we do. And yeah, of course, we're looking at growing, and not only in Columbus, but we'd like to put locations all around Ohio, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Dayton. We get all the time people from Dayton or Toledo saying that an Eden Burger would be great there. So Ohio will be our first focus, and then hopefully taking the Midwest so we can kind of stake our claim as like the middle American man's veggie burger,
It's so funny when you think about some of the places, like I said earlier, Ohio is not a vegan hotbed, but things are growing. And because of guys like yourselves making these things happen, you're bringing such a positive energy to this movement. You guys are bringing more information and more awareness to the movement by doing this. Do you guys have anybody that comes in and doesn't realize that Eden Burger is a vegan restaurant?
Occasionally it'll happen.
We've had some, more so we're connected to a bar next door, and we have a little window that we're able to serve into the bar, so people can be grabbing a drink and walk over to the window. So most of those cases have come from people in the bar that have had a few drinks, and they just see this nice bright window with burgers and fries like on the menu. And they'll come back and be like, I had this one guy, he ordered, ate his food, brought it back, the tray was clear, and he was like, hey, I think you guys made a mistake. I think you gave me a veggie burger on accident. And I was like, actually, it's all veggie burgers. And he was like, whoa, that was amazing. So we do have some people that mistakenly come and purchase our food, but I think 8 or 9 times out of 10, they're pretty happy with it, regardless, just from the taste. We want to make things that taste good to any, whatever dietary preference, whether it's vegan, vegetarian, omnivore. Of course, we're trying to push the vegan forward, vegan movement forward, and part of that comes by trying to make something that traditional meat eaters can still enjoy with friends and help transition them to the idea of a plant-based diet.
I think that's a huge point to be able to, reach out to, like myself. I grew up meat and potatoes and dairy at every meal. And, when you see these things out here like Beyond Sausages, those things are delicious. Those things help people like break that habit of, I have to have that, meat-based product, and it's not the case anymore. And so I appreciate where you guys are coming from, and, strategically set up next to a bar. You get a bunch of people who have a little alcohol, they're hungry, burgers and fries are always good. So well done.
Loose, feeling like they'll take a chance on a burger for sure.
That may be the best start that you guys could have hoped for, because you're going to see traffic just from that aspect alone. Because I know, I used to drink way too much. Thankfully to my wife, she pulled my head out of my backside and pulled me out of bars. And
like
so
all
that's
good women will do.
Yes.
Such a straight.
So she is, flipping my life right side up, and I've not hidden that story from anybody. But I've been on many late nights out drinking, and it's like, I would like a big burger and fries. So now there's an option where I would be happy to go to. so in Columbus. So, man, guys, I really appreciate your passion. I appreciate you guys carving out a few minutes to join me here on the live feed, and hopefully we can spread some good news, some positive energy to this movement. And folks, if you are close to Columbus, Ohio, make sure one of the places you should stop would be Edenburger. We're going to get a couple friends that they live down closer towards Cincinnati. They're going to come up, and we're going to have to get together and come up and see you guys and help support you guys.
Yeah,
For sure.
Definitely.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for pushing the movement forward.
Absolutely. If you guys need anything that we can do here in the Dayton area, by all means, feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to help any way we can, spreading the word. And man, just absolutely love how much this movement is growing and how big it's getting, and just, meeting folks like yourselves that, you jump feet first because that's where your heart was, and then, you're going to figure it out and you're going to make it happen. And I think that's fantastic.
Thank you so much, Chris. We appreciate all the kind words. And if you see any open, restaurant retail spaces in Dayton, don't be afraid to take a picture and hit us in the DMs. We're always looking for sure.
Absolutely, man. I will. There's one just in our neighborhood, but it's a small farm town. Wouldn't be a good location yet. It'll be great when there comes a day when even in that small farm town that you'll have those options. There are lots of places downtown Dayton that, cater. If you look at Lucky's Tap House, they have a huge selection of vegan options, and it's incredible, the movement that's growing. So you guys are making changes and making things happen, and I think that's what it's about. So hope you guys have a wonderful day, and keep in touch. And definitely, if I see anything, I will reach out to you guys and see what we can do.
For sure. Thanks.
Absolutely. You guys have a good one.